So we're talking again about bad broker behavior, and what we're going to talk about next are a couple of categories that are really kind of in the same vein. We talked in the section under conflicts of interest about blocking markets and flooding the marketplace, which are common phrases in the insurance industry, which again, it means that a broker is actually intending to try to send an application to an insurance company not to get a quote, but to make sure that no other broker can get a quote. And flooding is similar, it's just on a much more large scale. It's blocking on a large scale, if you will. And there's a bit of a gray area here, of course, because brokers are looking to get more quotes for their clients if they're really looking out for their clients. So it's hard for clients to necessarily tell if there's blocking or flooding going on, or if it's legitimately an effort by the broker to obtain more quotes. But considering that most clients only see 2 to 3 quotes, sending applications to lots and lots of insurance companies it can usually be a kind of an indication that, in fact, it's really just blocking and flooding that's going on, that the broker may have crossed the line and is really just trying to prevent other brokers from bidding. There are 2 things that happens here. One is often brokers who suspect that their clients are going to bring in other brokers to compete, often trying to defeat that competition by sending applications out to market right about the 90-day mark. Underwriters won't accept applications typically until it's within about 90 days of the expiration date. So right at the 90-day mark, brokers might flood the marketplace. And they often express to their client that they're doing this because they're looking out for the client. This is a service they provide. They shop really hard every year and they do it automatically. And we've heard this, and many clients that we've worked with have relayed this to us. It's very common that this is what they're told when the brokers flood the market. The legitimacy in terms of sending out a lot of applications is that nobody knows where the most competitive quote will come from in a really competitive scenario. However, flooding the marketplace defeats all competition, and so that really isn't looking out for the client, because the broker that's flooding the marketplace knows that there are certain insurance companies receiving applications that don't have a very good relationship with that particular broker. And those insurance companies certainly have good relationships with other brokers that might be competing for the business. So it's really bad behavior when this goes on, and it's a little self-evident. Clients should be able to figure out if the broker's looking out for them or just flooding the market, and brokers should be fired if they do this. The other thing we can talk about in the same vein is what we call the tip-off. And the tip-off has to do with the fact that insurance companies obviously need to see your loss runs, typically the last 4 or 5 years of loss runs, in order to release any quote. So what happens is that when the broker gets a call from a client and the client asks that broker for loss runs, that's the tip-off to the broker that looks like there's going to be competition. And what often happens, very often happens, is immediately when the broker hangs up the phone, the broker hits the red alert and they start sending applications all over the place. Obviously, in that mad rush to get applications out, to flood the marketplace with applications and lock up as many insurance companies as possible, there isn't a whole lot of effort going into putting together a good application that can create arguments, loss arguments, exposure arguments that can help the client drive pricing down. So it's really bad behavior on the part of the broker that is really counterproductive for the client. You can have bad applications going out into the market to elicit declinations, because, as we've said before, once an insurance company declines to quote for one broker, very rarely does that insurance company reverse that decision and quote for another broker if the client awards that insurance company to another broker later via broker of record letter. When the broker is caught on this, another indicator to a client that this is going on is that typically the excuse is that the clerical assistant made the mistake. The broker gave clear instructions that were really in the client's best interest to the clerical assistant, but the clerical assistant messed up and sent applications everywhere. So when clients are calling brokers and asking for loss runs, and they would like to have other brokers compete for the business, the client needs to be very explicit to tell the broker, we're going to have competition. You need to select markets. I need to assign insurance companies to you to work with, and please don't send applications out until we've gone through that process.